Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we have got a ton of news coming into the weekend, including information about the latest AEW TV deal. Sorry, the latest on, hopefully, AEW's latest TV deal. Also, Chad Gable and somebody else, I think. Are we going to talk about the other guy about to hit free agency as well?
Could. Yeah, we can.
All right, we'll talk about that as well. Also, the latest on Becky Lynch's absence from WWE. When will she be debuting in AEW? And finally, we're going to talk about the Department of Justice investigating Vince. Oh my gosh. Is he going to be going to jail like a certain former president of ours?
Seems likely. So, of course, last summer, WWE revealed in a filing that Vince McMahon had been served with a federal subpoena and search warrant. And there now appears to be movement in the federal government's case against Vince McMahon. Yesterday, Deadline reported that, quote, in a sealed filing today, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District in New York presented material to the federal court of a probe they have opened to the disgraced McMahon, World Wrestling Entertainment, and the WWE's ex-head of talent relations, John Laurinaitis. Due to this investigation from the Department of Justice, Janelle Grant's lawsuit against Vince McMahon has been paused. Grant's lawyer, Ann Callis, told Deadline, quote, Ms. Grant has consented to a request by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District in New York to stay her case against Mr. McMahon, WB, and Mr. Laurinaitis pursuant to a pending non-public investigation. We will cooperate with all appropriate next steps. I saw a lot of speculation and thought online about the government wouldn't be taking this step, the filing, pausing the lawsuit, if an indictment wasn't forthcoming.
Yeah, it seems like something might be happening sooner than later, which will be super interesting to see how all that goes down. And time will tell. See how bad this is going to get for Vince McMahon. You know, I'd be kind of shocked if it was merely a slap on the wrist, Larson. It seems like they may be coming down. I don't know if anybody's left sort of at the Department of Justice from 94, 93 when they tried to get Vince the first time.
Oh, probably not. That was 30 years ago, yeah.
That's a long time ago. There's some super old bureaucrat there who's like, you know what? He thought he got away from us, but not quite. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, there's not much to say here except I wouldn't want to be Vince McMahon right now.
No. And if and when we get more news about indictments, obviously we'll bring that to you as well.
Absolutely. Oh, man.
Ongoing situation.
Absolutely. You think he's going to get 34 guilty counts, Larson? Anyways, let's talk about Becky Lynch, man, because earlier this week, Fightful Select reported that Becky Lynch's contract was set to expire this weekend, and according to PW Torch's Wade Keller, Becky Lynch was set to take a hiatus from wrestling. In this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, those other guys, Dave Meltzer, added, Lynch's contract expires on June 1st. That's tomorrow, Larson.
That is tomorrow.
As many speculated really since Mania, she's going to be taking time off. My gut says that was the plan after her loss to Ripley, but when Ripley was injured, they brought her back in a short program to get over Morgan and have Morgan win the title from someone credible to build Morgan up for the Ripley program. It was described to us not as a retirement, but a very extended absence. And then he added more details to that during a recent Wrestling Observer radio. These transcripts come to you via Wrestling Inc. Dave said, Becky Lynch didn't renew / Lynch is taking an extended leave. From what I was told, it's not like a short period of time. She was looking for a long period of time out. It's probably if Seth Rollins isn't on the road, it makes sense for her not to be on the road. They can't be hurting for money or anything where they need it right now. And maybe she's looking at other things or maybe she's not, but she will be a free agent a couple days from now. End quote. I think there are no downsides to this for Becky Lynch. Seth Rollins is out right now. It's an opportunity that they may not have once he comes back from injury to just chill.
I know.
I understand that they're both hustlers. They're both career people. But if circumstances dictate that one of them's got to be at home, and you have an opportunity now with the contract expiring to be at home with them and just experience that before you get right back into it. I don't know how long Seth Rollins is supposed to be out for.
Yeah, I don't either.
But yeah. And on top of that, there's the added bonus of in wrestling, when you're gone, you just build up leverage because eventually they're going to need you.
Yep.
And you get a bigger reaction the longer you've been out. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how how ambitious she is looking at other opportunities, what she's interested in exploring. Is it more acting? Is it more writing? Is it something else? Real estate? I don't know. She gonna stage homes? I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird market right now. So for the luxury set, she can stage homes. I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway.
I don't know. Yeah, and she's been wrestling for a long time. That takes its toll on the body.
Oh yeah.
If nothing else, it gives her an opportunity to rest, recuperate.
Yeah.
And we don't know what, as you mentioned, her ambitions might be outside the wrestling ring. If there's still things that she wants to do in the world of wrestling, maybe say in AEW, become their champion.
I think we got it up here, so it's a distinct possibility now that we have preordained it, manifested it.
Could be.
Maybe. I kind of think that's the one thing she ain't gonna do. To be honest.
Yeah, highly unlikely she's gonna go to AEW. Yeah, if she's gonna wrestle,
unlikely.
she's gonna stay with WWE, unless it's a situation where AEW just throws an astronomical amount of money at her, and WWE's like, we're not gonna match that. Even then, I think she'd probably just stay with WWE.
She's like, hey, I'll come and do. It's like Saudi money for one Wembley show. Rebecca Quinn versus Mercedes Moné for Wembley. Probably not going to happen, but hey, stranger things have happened in the world of pro wrestling. Stranger things have happened. I give it like a 2% botch, but hey, things happen, man.
Exactly. You never know. And we always say whatever aligns with the individual's ambition, that's what they're going to do. Apart from Becky tweeting to be continued, she hasn't commented on any of this contract stuff since that appearance on Ara Helwani's MMA Hours, where she talked about knowing her worth, and I fully expect her to be patient and get the contract that she thinks she deserves, which is a lot of money.
I wonder how much the creative aspect would play into it as well. I mentioned this on the show before. She is sort of in uncharted territory when it comes to somebody in the world of women's wrestling that has sort of done the John Cena, the Randy Orton, has done everything, knocked off all the achievements like those dudes have done. And, you sort of saw it towards the tail end of Cena's full-time run, and even when he was part-time, they were never really, and it was under Vince, but they were never really able to come up with all that interesting type of creative. Randy's been kind of a different situation. It's been sort of off and on. He had a really good time with the Riddle stuff, and maybe they'll come up with something really interesting for Cody, but they always find something for him to do. Sometimes it does just sort of feel like, well, he's Randy, he's a legend. He's not going to be booked to be world champion anymore, but he'll be booked really, really high up the card. And for some people, maybe Becky Lynch would be like, hey, that's cool. But maybe given that they've established such a high bar with storytelling with like the Bloodline stuff and the Final Boss stuff, throw your ones up for Bloodline, Larson and Cody. It could be, she could be like, hey, you know what? Come up with like a really, really, really damn good story. And then we can talk about how the money situation plays out, because that could factor into it as well. Interest me. Let me do something interesting that's really capturing the zeitgeist. And maybe for some people, maybe that would offset, if WWE wanted to rein their spending under control.
They wanted to re-sign people with a bit of a hometown discount.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
to use a phrase from the sporting world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be that. It could be interesting, creative. Could kind of be enough of an offset if the money isn't the same from other places. But of course, you get the creative, but you also get the stage, the platform that WWE offers, and AEW is a decent sized wrestling promotion, but they are not the worldwide leader in sports entertainment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true.
They're the platform they offer is larger than most, nowhere near the size that WWE offers.
Yeah.
So remains to be seen. But yeah, I mean, maybe Rumble up the soonest. We'll see her, but who knows? Could be a while.
Yeah, could be. Oh yeah, could absolutely be a while. Let's talk about this.
More free agents.
What's
maybe.
that?
More free agents, maybe.
More free agents. Even more. So Fightful Select is currently reporting that Chad Gable's contract is set to expire a week from today, next Friday.
Yeah.
While WWE is interested in re-signing Gable, Fightful notes he's expected to receive interest from various other promotions should he hit free agency, and that they've, quote, already heard there will be a strong push from talent in various outside companies to vouch for him to be signed. Why would anybody need to vouch for this guy? He's like a hair away from winning that Intercontinental Championship. He's heavily featured on television right now.
Yeah.
I don't think he would need to be vouched for. The bigger thing would be they need to pitch him properly if he's going to leave WWE. He is heavily featured right now.
I know.
In the middle of actually, I'm now interested a lot more than I had been in the past in Chad Gable. WWE, they take their time. They get these people in a position to perform, and they hit these big angles where all of a sudden you're like, oh, shit, I care about Chad Gable now. I see it. I see the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, man, it's got to be, the money's got to be skyrocketing, and the creative's got to be pretty decent because they're doing a pretty good job with him right now. As much as it might, and maybe it would interest him to be like, hey, I want to go out and be Will Ospreay guy. I want to go out there and be 5-star match guy. I don't really think wrestlers give a shit about that, to be honest with you, though. I want to go out there and be the best. No, I want to go out there and make the biggest paycheck.
Well, I'm sure there's something to be said. Listen, if it's a situation where Chad Gable wasn't featured as prominently on WWE TV, and there's a choice between being on TV for here and there and maybe making a really good living, or maybe going out and testing himself against some of the world's best, maybe not quite make as much. Maybe he want to go out and test the world's best and build up his brand outside WWE, so when he could come back, he could potentially make more. We've seen a lot of people do that.
If he was in a Mustafa Ali situation, where when he was on main roster right now, but that ain't where he's at.
I know that ain't it right now. I mean, Fightful just reported today, right before we got started, that Ricochet's contract is expiring this summer. Now that's a situation where he's on TV.
He's speed champion.
Well, all right. I don't know. That's enough of a draw to keep someone in the company, though. You're the Twitter champion, essentially.
Hey, man, put some respect on that speed title.
You have it on TV, man. Barely can.
Because Elon doesn't want it on TV. Do you think Elon Musk knows about the speed title?
No.
What? It's his thing. It's his platform.
Yeah, I doubt he knows what the speed title is. Come on.
I think he's got a replica in his office, man.
Highly doubtful. But he's featured on TV, I don't know, a couple times a month. He's about to get beat by Braun Breaker. He's in a decent spot. I'm sure he's making good money. His wife or his fiance works for the company in Ricochet's case.
Yeah, here's the difference. This is why, because Ricochet might see Will Ospreay.
I know. Will Ospreay just mentioned Ricochet in the interview and said it's like Ricochet deserves so much more.
All right, look, here's the thing. I'm bad guy Steve right now, okay?
All right.
Ricochet seems like a cool guy. Seems like a really good guy. And I actually, over the past literally like 2 episodes of Raw, wearing the suit and having a little bit more attitude in his voice, I think might give him reason to be patient, because maybe they'll crack a personality for the guy. I don't know, and I'm kind of bullish on the idea that he's going to go somewhere else and unlock a Will Ospreay level of charisma. I am super bullish on that. I see Will Ospreay and I'm like, oh my God, this guy would be right at home in WWE. because of the personality. You see this guy on the microphone. Bro, there was an entire Twitter thread of Ricochet being shut down in promos because he just doesn't have that gravitas. He doesn't have that presence. Will Ospreay is a whole bag of presence. He really is. He gets on that camera. He gets on that mic. You can't look away from him. Ricochet, you get on your phone when he starts talking on the microphone. When he's in the ring, yeah, oh, it's awesome. But dude, I don't know. And that, I don't think he's not going to be another Ospreay. I don't care how good he is in the ring.
Yeah.
But maybe WWE is going to try to unlock something with his personality. But I think that would happen in WWE. I don't think that would happen anywhere else.
I mean, I guess the one potential draw of AEW with that company being so much more focused on the in-ring product, and Ricochet is a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah.
Can't be argued.
There's a lot of those dudes, though.
I know, but Ricochet is one of those guys that does stuff that very few people in the world can do.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think there's at least 20, and I think there's at least 20 in AEW.
I don't know, man. Because I feel like we're seeing a fraction of what he's capable of in WWE.
People said the same thing about Dolph, man.
Yeah, we were wrong. That's just who he is and what he wants to do. That's fine. It's worked for him.
Yeah.
It's worked for him. And I guess, maybe his philosophy is if it's not broke, don't fix it. I don't know. My point is that Ricochet, more than WWE, could get over based on wrestling alone in AEW than he probably could in WWE.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think
that's my point.
It's hard to debate that. It's hard to debate that. But it's also, there are a lot of people who can do what he does.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, maybe there's a lot more he could unlock outside WWE. Maybe that's a possibility. I'm bullish on that.
Maybe we'll actually see him do the double moonsault.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. If I'm Ricochet, number one, Samantha's there, like you said.
I know.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you know the system. You're there. Man, I don't know that I don't know that his thing. He ain't gonna be a Drew McIntyre where you go away and you find yourself and you come back a different
never
person.
Know. I don't know. People thought that was going to be the situation with Drew either.
He was 20 years old or something. He was super young. I didn't think that would happen, but he was young enough so that anything was possible.
Unless the money is outrageous you're getting from AEW and you're getting like a Will Ospreay type creative situation.
Yeah.
Unless you're just being underused in WWE, there's not a whole lot of arguments to leave the company. Really.
Yeah.
They're the hot company right now. They got a lot of buzz. They're selling out shows. The ratings are up. In theory, with all these new TV deals, the pay scale should go up again in theory. Let's see if that actually happens. Although what Meltzer said, the minimum salary or downside guarantee WWE is $350,000 these days.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds good on paper, but you got to take away travel expenses too from that because they got to pay for their own cars and hotels and stuff, and that adds up.
Yeah.
But WWE is the hot company right now.
Yeah.
And I would understand why people have a hard time leaving a company which seems to be popular and have the buzz and still kind of be on the ascent in terms of popularity and buzz. It'd be difficult to leave that situation if you had a choice. Yeah.
Let me ask something.
Sure.
Who would you rather be right now? Ricochet or Shinsuke Nakamura?
Ricochet.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people. Let me ask you this. Who would you rather be? Pete Dunne or Ricochet?
Ricochet.
Yeah. Who'd you rather be, Johnny Gargano or Ricochet?
Ricochet.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like they're going to do something with them.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible. I mean, Ricochet was really successful in NXT.
It is a tougher one. It is a tougher one than Gable. Gable has got he's got WWE written all over him.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if he left. I'd be really shocked. I really would, because if he leaves, if he goes to AEW, he ain't going to be a protected guy like Ospreay, Swerve, or Okada. He's not going to be. Neither is Ricochet, I don't think.
No, probably not.
It'll be more like Pac.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he'll have a decent run at first, but then he'll just be Pac.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, now that we've solved it, Larson,
Let's talk more AEW TV deals. Exciting stuff.
I want to know where I'm going to watch my AEW. I'll be honest with you. If AEW land on a streaming service, I'd be pretty happy with that.
Or if you'll ever be able to watch AEW ever again. So earlier this week, the Pucks, Matt Bellani, reported that Tony Khan was, quote, disappointed in Warner Brothers Discovery first offer to retain the broadcasting rights for AEW programming. Subsequently, Dave Meltzer reported that sources within AEW told him that, quote, the first offer was not disappointing to Tony Khan, but the two sides have yet to reach any deal. In this week's newsletter, Dave has more details. Reported on the numbers being negotiated between Warner Brothers Discovery and AEW, stating the following: that they are, quote, said to be considerably more than the estimated $110 million per year, or slightly more. That would, in theory, take the company into profitable range. There is talk of figures being between 50% above and as much as nearly double the current number said to be already on the table. The latter figure in particular would open up the potential of tens of millions more annually for talent acquisitions and other expansions in the budget. My understanding is that the deal now is for $45 million a year. I saw that floating around social media today. So obviously 110, more than double that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And if that's the range, 110 and upwards, to make AEW a profitable company, at least on paper, that's not a disappointing number. And I wonder if it's not so much the dollar amount that's open up for the negotiation, it's what's included in that.
Yeah, like are they like what's the finagling over? Is it streaming rights? Is it bringing?
Is it Ring of Honor stuff? I don't know.
Bro, it ain't Ring of Honor.
It might be the library on Max. That could
glad
be that.
You said that with a smile on your face, because don't do that one seriously.
Because I've always kind of wondered if Tony Khan wants like some omnibus package that includes everything.
Yeah, probably.
Because he's talked about in the past, like the value in his estimation of the Ring of Honor library, and I think there is value to it. But I kind of wondered if he overvalued to a degree what the Ring of Honor library is worth to streaming services and wrestling fans.
What did he pay for that thing? $2 million?
I don't remember.
Something.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you're probably like, okay, listen, give us this much, and we'll throw in that Ring of Honor. Okay, we stop mentioning the Ring of Honor stuff. Nobody cares about that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
I think this, again, from Stupid Steve's point of view, you would think this would boil down to maybe two things. Number one, if the Dynamite ad numbers are healthy in terms of like revenue, how do we milk more out of that? Is there talk of a third hour of Dynamite? Is the lately at doing these 3-hour blocks, is that piloting that? Is that them both, saying, hey, we can talk about this, but let's go ahead and take a look at what it does, practically speaking, a couple times. Or it could be the streaming stuff. I think that's a possibility as well. And I don't know if the streaming stuff would be, if the streaming stuff is like, we want it for Max, included with the Max subscription, or we want it for Max and it's still pay-per-view, but it's going to be pay-per-view on Max, maybe slightly discounted from normal, like $40. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if those are sort of the sticking points, because otherwise I don't know what it would be.
Whatever.
It's pure numbers.
If it's a situation where they get kind of like a Peacock type deal with Max for the pay-per-views, and obviously whatever they make on the broadcast rights would have to be elevated to account for the revenue they're losing from direct pay-per-view sales. If you're getting between 100 and 150,000 pay-per-view buys at $50 a piece, that's $5, $6, $7.5 million, somewhere in that vicinity, 10 times a year.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I guess that's what, an extra between 50 and $60 million, let's say.
Yeah.
To add that to whatever the increase they want for the TV deal. So maybe that is the thing, is like, hey, we can agree upon what the deal is going to be for the broadcast rights for Dynamite, Rampage, Collision. What are we going to get on top of that for Max if we do a Peacock style deal?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or are we going to keep the pay-per-views a separate thing? I would hope from Tony Khan's perspective, he's like, hey, can we get a better time spot for Collision and at least Collision? Because if you get a better time spot for Collision and you start dedicating some more creative energy, so it's like 1A, 1B with Dynamite, you would think, in theory, depending on the night and time, ratings go up, therefore ad revenue goes up. Rather than adding a third hour of Dynamite, I'd be like, hey, give Collision a better time spot.
You know, dude, I know you and I give a shit about that kind of stuff. I find it difficult to believe that they would because, like, I don't know. If he's trying to get money from them and they've already put Collision where it's at, I don't know that I'd be like, oh, you know, can we move? That's a big shift. Like, you would think from a programming perspective, from TNT standpoint, that's a big shift. You know, it's like, okay, that's a 2-hour block on a Saturday night. What the fuck are we going to do with, where are we going to put that? Like, that was the best. I feel like that was the best they could come up with. I don't know that you can get a better spot than that.
It's tough because
preempting it all the time.
They're not going to move Dynamite to Tuesdays. Dynamite's going to stay on Wednesdays, and you're not going to have Collision the following day on Thursday. So then it is either a Friday or Saturday at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Neither of those are good time spots, even in prime time. So you can't do Sunday because pay-per-views. Can't do Monday because Raw. I know it's a tough situation without moving Dynamite or something. And even if it's you do Collision Fridays at 8, I don't know what TNT, probably movies or something like that.
And the thing is also, we've never heard that Tony Khan is unhappy with those time slots.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's what's, it just seems like, hey, that's what's available. You could do Saturday at noon. How about that? You know what
syndicated.
You know?
Yeah, Will Ospreay has posted a picture on Twitter of him shaking hands with Ricochet, with this Ricochet news coming out.
Oh, hell. Oh, he's buttering him up.
Oh, he's doing the full court press to bring Ricochet to AEW.
Come on, bruv.
Trevor Man is all elite.
He's like, look, man. I think he could use Ricochet.
I know. I just like saying Trevor Man.
Trevor Man's a great name. Yeah, dude. He's probably like, oh, bruv, listen. You show up, you get that speed title, right? You dump it right in the bin. You put the speed title in the bin. And then Ricochet's like, no, I can't do that. He's like, what'd you just say? You can't say that here in America.
I thought that was just going to be with Gallus.
I thought it was going to be a Joe Coffey thing, but now it's a Will Ospreay thing.
No, it doesn't have to be, though. That's your choice, Steve.
It is my choice. It's also the Friendo's choice as to whether or not they want our bonus episodes at the Friendo Club setup. Man, this is the best thing in the world. It's the Friendo Club setup. You give us $5 a month, right? And then with that, you're like, wow, I get stuff for that? I just thought I was helping out Steve and Larson because
of course you get stuff with that.
Right. You get a weekly bonus podcast where we talk about anything but
no wrestling talk. Coming up next week, we're talking Desert Island Discs.
Yeah. Ooh, exciting stuff. And then after that, the next week, we're going to talk about Desert Island movies. You want only the best music and film critiques. We did an Iron Claw review last week that has people buzzing all over the place. Anyway, so yeah, the Friendo Club setup, you get the bonus episode. You get access to the Big Blue Predictions Challenge, which I got to hit up Master Cure. I found out Master Cure is on the Patreon, so I got to hit up Master Cure and be like, let's get that picture. I think they said, I don't know. I think they said they wanted Dominic Mysterio, a picture of Dom Mysterio for their Friendo Club championship picture for the Hall of Champions. By the way, right now, free gratis for everybody, for the entire public. You can go to patreon.com/Steven Larson and check out the Big Blue Hall of Champions. It's an extensive oral history of the Big Blue Predictions Challenge.
I wasn't interviewed for this.
Nobody was. I just like the term oral history. I just wrote the history. Anyway, so yeah, you can check that out right now. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. And if you want in on the next month the very first month of Champions Prediction Challenge.
Coming up starting tomorrow. Well, it's no pay-per-views tomorrow, but the month of June starts tomorrow.
Right. Battleground is like the 8th or 9th or something like that of June. The 9th. Then you got Clash of the Castle on the 15th. And then you got AEW New Japan CMLL Forbidden Door.
Stardom too. I think Stardom's involved as well.
Stardom's involved as well. Bushi Road. Forbidden Door coming up at the end of June.
On the 30th, I believe.
On the 30th. So be sure to get in on the Friendo Club Big Blue Predictions Challenge.
Month of Champions.
Month of
Also,
Champions.
if you're watching on the YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, that notify bell, and really smash that like button. We like the likes here. We like the validation, and it's good for the content in that YouTube algorithm. I don't get it. I don't understand any of it, but it's good.
Oh, dude, you know what, man? I've devoted my life to learning about the YouTube algorithm. I've got all sorts of blueprints over here. I got lots of paperwork involving the YouTube algorithm. Trust me when I tell you guys that like button means the world to the YouTube algorithm. I know the algorithm, Larson.
There you go.
And take my
Speaking
word
of validation, what I just said is validated by Steve. So there we go.
Perfect. Anyways.
Let's answer questions.
Yeah, let's answer some questions, and we'll call it a day. It's Friday. We got to get out of here, man.
Gotta get out here and play some basketball before it gets too hot.
Ball
Ty Moore
up.
here asks, which tag team from the past do you think would have made for a great collaboration with the footwear company? Imagine some Wolfpack themed. Oh, gosh, what was it called? Oh, some and ones. Imagine some and ones that were Wolfpack themed.
The Wolfpack and ones, that'd be sick. I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. Got to break him in a little bit. Let's see here. John says, as Batman has contingency plans for all the other Justice League members, what are your contingency plans for Going in Raw and its members? So if I were to suddenly get hit by 3 buses at the same time in some disaster collision, if I became a collision cowboy.
State job.
What? Would you, come on, let me ask you something. What would you do? Think about, because look, anything can happen anytime.
Yeah.
You know, sad situation, sad last days with Steve here.
You know, I think I've said it before, and sitting here in this chair, this is still my sentiment that for me, Going in Raw is the two of us, and I can't imagine going on without you.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, you've built an entire... Look, I hate to tell you this, man. You've built your career. This is it. This is what you got. It's this.
You're telling me I can't parlay the great success of Going in Raw to an easy cruise control government job.
Oh, man.
Retirement. I don't have to pay for my own insurance.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. I don't know.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the weekly CalPERS podcast.
God, that'd be amazing. That'd be great. I'm surprised you haven't looked into that already. No, go find another co-host. Come on. You got to get somebody else.
What are you talking about?
Am I
going to have Hilton do the show?
Hey,
no.
I ain't getting no state job. I tell you what right now. If you disappear, if you became a collision cowboy, got hit by 3 buses at the same time, I'd be calling up, hey, Alex, Queen of the Ring. Hey, Matt from Assemble. Hey, whoever, X3. Yeah. Hey. I would not continue as Going in Raw because that is you and I, and that would be horrible. But I got Wrestle Juice, baby.
I know.
I got that. But yeah, no, you gotta. Look, we are content creators, man. If CalPERS had a podcast producer, yeah, I'll give you my blessing.
Here's the thing for me is I don't feel like this job comes terribly natural for me, and I don't necessarily feel like I'm the best person suited for it. What?
Ridiculous.
Why are you rolling your eyes at me?
Because it's an eye-rolling statement. You're natural at this.
You don't know what's inside of me. You don't know how I feel about everything.
There was a joke there, by the way.
What? Do you know what's inside me?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, dear. And there's a comfort level with the fact that we've been friends for nearly 30 years.
Yeah.
The chemistry we have.
We're security blankets. I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
And to lose that would be devastating for me, and I don't know if I'd be able to continue doing this.
Well,
without that measure to comfort and security, I don't know if I could.
I think you got it in you, man. I think you got a lot of people that would be very interested.
I got a state job in me is what I got in me.
All right, fair. Hey, you could try to glom onto Mo and Deuce and be a producer. I think you'd be a killer producer regardless.
Yeah, no, I could do that part of it. Yeah. It's the on-air part that without this, I'd have a hard time doing by myself. Like I was trying to do when I was doing the sneaker reviews by myself.
It was so good though.
Oh, dude, you don't know what kind of anxious mess I was doing that by myself.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
And that was just little short videos. I can't imagine.
Was it was the nervousness while you were performing?
Yeah.
Wow. Didn't come up. A lot of people like that sneaker vlog, but I feel you. Do you think you'd be more comfortable in a setting like with Homeboy that you watched, the guy here in town? Because he's got like, I think his lady is like his producer.
Yeah, his wife. Yeah, wear testers. Yeah.
Like if I was behind the camera, for example, and
no, that make me more anxious. No, that's why I'd always do it after you left.
Because they do it as kind of like a conversation.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But go check out Wear Testers if you like sneaker vlogs.
Wear Testers, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And they're local here in the Sacramento area.
But even if I was like, it was just like a conversational thing, you'd be like, that fucking camera's right there. Get that thing off me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Set up a bunch of hidden cameras on here as like Truman Show.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Fair enough.
The Monopoly guy here says, have you acknowledged your tribal chief today? Put your ones up for Roman Reigns, Steve.
I'll put my ones up for Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, come back, join the U. Let's see here. More questions. David Matushak, with Jon Moxley facing Evil at Dominion in a lumber. What do you think of Evil declaring himself the IWGP champion?
I mean, he can say a lot of things. Let's make them true.
What are the remote possibilities of the latter winning?
Evil ain't winning. No, he ain't beating Mox. Get out of here with that.
I think New Japan might be like, you fuckers put Mox in a match with DDT Pro guy. Evil wins.
Well, then Mox beat him with one arm.
Still, 17 minutes.
Kel Miko here says, what's a very trivial thing you struggle with? Free throws. That's what it is for me.
Oh, dude, I know, man.
It's in my head. I'm going to try something different today. Can't be any worse.
Granny shot? Mm-mm. That seems like it'd be hard.
I know.
Yeah, granny shot seems hard. Something I struggle with. Dude, I gotta improve my handles. My handles are dog shit, man. I've been doing the thing lately where I've been putting it through my leg to go left, but my dribbling to the left ain't great. I got it's my handles. So I got to work on also my ratio of when I defend you with the three and when I back off and just try to get a rebound because I think, okay, he's going to brick it. So that's sort of what I struggle with. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I struggle with. No, otherwise I'm great at everything.
You're great at everything else. All right.
Hayes McHale says, do you think Triple H has taken a longer time to put Gable with the Creeds because he's not sure if Chad's going to re-sign? I think that's a possibility, sure.
What do you think the odds are if there's no contract deal reached by Monday, they do a thing where Alpha Academy kicks out Gable?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. They might have that as an option, sure. Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
Mr. Coffee here says, do you think the new bloodline will bend the knee to their new head of the table? Queen Nia Jax will reveal she's the one Solo was answering to. Is Nia behind it all? Or do you think it's the final boss, Steve?
Oh, dude. Put your L's up for the final boss. Yeah, there you go.
Solo's not acting on his own accord, for sure. He's getting orders from somebody. It's not Roman Reigns.
I would pop so huge if it was Nia.
That'd be something else.
Oh, my God.
Pretty neat.
God.
Pretty
damn
neat.
It, could you imagine? That'd be crazy. Elemental Giant says, what other band moves do you think will return to WWE? Pile driver. You got to do the pile driver.
Yeah, bring back the pile driver.
Fucking say it. Like, that's one move that I kind of feel like you and I could probably do.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to take it with my neck's jacked up. But
okay, but if we're like on
I'd give you a pile driver.
If we're on like gym mats, if we're on gym mats.
Yeah.
If we just fall over. Basically, just fall over.
Just keep your chin like that and you're fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Kyle asked, Jack Swagger debuts in NXT against Lexus King. Who wins?
Lexus King.
Lexus King goes over, of course.
Throw it up for the Lex Offenders. No?
You got to drop that.
I mean, it's the name of his fan base.
No, it's not. It wasn't the Intellectuals?
Yeah, I think so.
That's hard to say.
It is hard to say. Lex Offenders is much more clever.
To get
Royal
the right inflection in there.
It's not sex offender. It's Lex Offender.
Still,
do you get there's a difference there?
I do, but what is it referencing?
Fans of Lexus King.
All right, ask the next question, please.
You literally facepalmed. Royal Kong says, how does the women's division shake out if Lynch truly does leave and go elsewhere? It's a deep-ass division.
Yep.
Somebody will ride like Lyra Valkyrie.
Lyra Valkyrie. There's plenty of really talented women in WWE that can step up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My spirit animal is a Dorito says, this is the last one I got over there, and then you can sound off on some.
Sounds good.
Best movie soundtrack. He says The Crow is S tier. The Crow is a really
Crow's
good soundtrack.
good. You like the Pulp Fiction one.
My favorites are Pulp Fiction and Train Spotting.
And Boogie Nights.
Oh, Boogie Nights is so good.
There's actually 2 editions of the Boogie Nights soundtrack.
Same with Train Spotting. There was 2 Train Spotting ones, yeah. But I wasn't into the second one, just the first one.
Those are the ones that come to mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Dwayne Huff here asks, what do you think is better for a long-term career, winning lots of matches but no major titles, or being over, winning lots of titles but not being over, or being someone on the level of Kofi or R-Truth?
Okay, so
winning a lot of matches, no titles.
Who is that?
And Blake Whitehouse in a comment to that says Jake Roberts, who on a major stage won lots of matches. I don't believe he ever won a title in WWF.
Wow. He never even won the Intercontinental?
I don't believe so.
All right. Somebody's got to be somebody more modern. Won a lot of matches, but no titles. Boy, usually when you win a lot of matches, you win a title.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen very often these days.
Doesn't happen very often. You know what? I wouldn't mind being considered, man, they really should have given that guy the world title. That's kind of a cool spot to be in. That's not a terrible spot.
I mean, I guess my answer to this question is, of these 3 options, which one is making the most money? Because that's the one I'd rather have.
Well, these days with the bucket system, if you got to feel like if you're winning a lot of matches but no titles, you're a solid utility guy.
You're not filling that bucket.
You're not filling that bucket. That's a good point. You think is but if you're not over, you're not filling the bucket.
No, I know. So you got to be someone who's highly successful, like Kofi. Won basically every title.
Kofi's won everything.
Yeah. He probably makes a lot of money. New Day merch, I don't know if it sells the same as it used to, but it probably sells a good amount of stuff.
Back in the day, it was overflowing that bucket.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to be Kofi? That's a silly question. Yeah.
Mr. Sinister here says, emphasis on if Becky was to go to AEW, become the highest paid female wrestler ever, will Mercedes be salty about that since she won the title, since she is the best female wrestler?
No, because she's got a favored nations clause.
Oh, breaking news from Steve.
I hope she does. Like, listen, if Rebecca Quinn joins the AEW zone, the Dynamite zone,
5% bump over. Yeah.
Over.
B-Man here says, under Paul, will there be any more failed cash-in attempts? If so, how should he go about booking it? If it makes sense for the story, here's the thing. I don't think there'll be any more spiteful failed cash-ins. It's not going to be any failed cash-ins will be for the sake of telling a story.
I'll put it this. I'll even go on further. Any failed cash-ins will have been planned prior to the win, prior to the Money in the Bank win.
Jimmy Thomas says, if you got the opportunity to create merch for one wrestler, who would you pick and why?
Oh, wow.
It's got to be Seth Rollins because his merch is continually crap.
Boy, I know, but what do you do with Seth? I'm thinking of somebody who's kind of newish, doesn't have great merch yet. Somebody that the Final Testament, I feel, is like a clean slate for just some killer merch. You know, Cross has a great look. Scarlett's, oh man. And then you got the AOP, you got Ellering. Tell me that's not a great crew or Uncle Howdy's new stuff, whenever that comes out.
Well, they always did a really good job with the Wyatt family's merch.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying in terms of somebody who's never had good merch, try to, actually produce some.
Because if you design good merch for someone who's actually really popular and over, that's going to sell a ton.
Yeah. I just don't know what I would do with Rollins. I need something to bite into,
All over print. That's the answer. All over.
Of his laughing face. Yeah. That's good.
Sebastian Garcia says, would a Liv versus Rhea match be too corny if there was some sort of custody of Dominic Mysterio stipulation?
Yep. Yeah. That's got to be in the past. It's a fun joke, but that's stupid.
Yeah. Luis, last question I got. Now with Triple H fully in charge and Vince completely out of the picture, do you see any returns to WWE that were previously unfeasible, such as Pac or Mox?
I think they take Pac in a heartbeat.
Well, I think they take both of them in a heartbeat. Yeah,
they take Mox in a heart. Yeah, I was getting yeah.
Mox seems pretty happy in AEW. He seems to enjoy the freedom of what AEW has to offer.
I think Mox. I think you're absolutely right. I think he's probably very happy. He gets to spend probably plenty of time at home. He gets to do whatever he wants to do. He already did it all in WWE. I don't know if he's got that itch like, oh, man, I got to go back and beat Roman. Like, what else do you have to do?
Like a WrestleMania main event. I don't know if that's like on his priority list, you know?
He's probably making like at least comparable to what he was making before.
Well, he might be making more than what he's making before now.
That's a possibility, yeah. Anyway, is that all the questions you got over there?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.